Hello, 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 everyone. Again, I'm on this computer and the webcam is on the keyboard. So just kind of bear with me with this because, yeah, it's it's in the wrong spot. It's in the wrong spot. Okay. For those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Nicole Cheney and I'm a nutritionist. Who helped moms reduce sugar in their household. I do have a degree in child nutrition. And yeah, this is my channel where I give my little helpful advice and all that good stuff. Yeah, so that's me in a nutshell. Me in a nutshell. So what we're going to do, what we're going to be talking about in this video is baking and how you can do that without sugar or reducing your sugar in that sort of way. I'm just putting this up on my app because if you guys didn't know, this is, I do a live video in my app every single week. And I'm just making sure they can get this live stream right here. There they go. There they go. They got it. They got it. Okay. Oh, okay. Let me just get another little... I'm trying to lean the computer up so you can see me, but I also don't want it to be, completely there. I think we got it. So we're going to be going over some baking tips of what you can do when you don't eat sugar or you want to reduce your sugar, okay? Because the holiday season's coming up. It is, okay? Halloween's just around the corner, and then there's nonstop sugar until after Halloween's done, right? So that's why I thought this video would be perfect. Now, some of these replacements are natural sugars, or they are like actual sugar replacements, okay? So we're gonna get started here. I have my notes here. They're my little handy dandy notes. That's why I look down a little bit. Because if I don't have notes, I'm gonna derail like I have these past 2 minutes, right? Okay, so the first sugar replacement is raw honey. Okay, now if you're trying to reduce your sugar, this is great to use, okay, because it's raw, it's a natural sugar. And what I found with it, with the honey, okay, because we don't really eat honey. We don't eat honey. We don't even bake with honey. No, we don't in this family because we are a zero sugar family, okay. But what I found is that it's a lot sweeter than actual sugar, okay, because it's raw when you get it raw. Now, when you buy honey and raw honey, you want to go in the organic section. It's never on the shelf in the normal shelf. That stuff is only 10% of actual honey, and then it has a ton of additives and sugar in it, okay? Because honey became popular and they wanted to sell more bottles, so they want to be able to fill it, give you like a good fill of it, and literally only 10% of that bottle or jar in the normal aisle is honey. So you want to go in the organic section when you're buying honey, and you want to make sure it's raw when you buy it, okay? And you just need a tiny little bit of honey when you bake, like literally like half a teaspoon, and you'll have enough sweetness for your baking, okay? Well, at least for me, if you're starting to reduce your sugar, you might not only need like a half teaspoon. You might need a teaspoon, okay? But for me, anything's kind of like sweet now. So even with my sugar replacements, and it tells me to do a certain amount, like a tablespoon, I only do maybe a quarter tablespoon, because everything's sweet to me when you take sugar out. It does. But honey is also great for supporting immune health, okay? Immune health. It has tons of antioxidants, and it's really good for you, okay? And it's great for your gut health, okay? So raw honey has so many benefits to it and is a natural sugar. So you're not completely taking the sugar out, but things with natural sugars tend to have a lot more good stuff to them than just sugar, like sugar in general does, right? Okay. The next one is pure maple syrup. Okay, now this is again like with the honey, you don't need a lot. It's very sweet. When you actually make it from scratch, it's definitely sweet. Okay, when you take it from the tree. Okay, but pure maple honey is high source of, well, a really good source of zinc, okay, and calcium and magnesium. And if you guys don't know, when you reduce your sugar, you actually drink a lot more water. So then you're actually recycling your electrolytes a lot more often than you would when you have sugar, which is a good thing. You want to keep that recycling going. You want your body to function properly and your kidneys to function properly. Okay, so you just want to like replace it with, you just want to be mindful of that and replace your minerals and vitamins in a healthy way, which is through your fruits and vegetables, and all natural things like pure maple syrup. Okay. So the next one is my favorite one, my favorite sugar replacement. I use it for like whenever I bake, it's my favorite. You can get it in white sugar, brown sugar, or icing sugar. So, and it's all there in the organic section. So whatever my baking needs, if I'm making icing or if I need brown sugar for cookies, it's all there. So it's Swerve. Swerve, I love Swerve. Swerve became really popular when the ketogenic diet became popular because people were looking for sugar alternatives. So they have expanded into like the brown sugar and the icing sugar, which is amazing because they just only had like the white grated sugar before that. But I find that it tastes the most similar to sugar, okay? And it has the most similar texture of it. So when you're baking, it's, when you bake, you can feel the texture of sugar when you actually bake with sugar, right? With Swerve, it's kind of the same thing. For me, though, like when I bake with Swerve, because I've been sugar-free for 5 years now, if it says a tablespoon, like I'm only going to use like a quarter tablespoon because of how I feel with sweetness. Does that make sense? Okay. And when you start reducing your sugar, it completely, your body completely changes to its tolerance to sweet things, right? So with me, I find strawberry sweet now, and I didn't before, right? So it's like little things like that. So then that actually helps reduce your sugar in the long run too, because you're like, I just don't want it anymore, right? But Swerve is amazing sugar replacement, okay? It's free of like artificial ingredients and fillers as well. So love that. And yeah, like I use it for everything. Like I bake muffins with it. I bake cookies with it, bread with it, pancakes with it, waffles with it. I just add just like a little bit, especially like the icing sugar. You can put a little bit of icing sugar on top of like your like sugar. The Swerve sugar is what I'm talking about here. The icing sugar of it, you can like just put like a little powder of it on your pancakes or your waffles on top. Like you don't have to put it in the mixture, and it's just like this extra little like sweet stuff, and you can put some berries on top after. Good. Okay. So Swerve is like my favorite. It's my jam. It's what I do. It's what I eat. What I bake with. All of it. Swerve. Another popular one, which is my next one, is stevia. Okay. So a lot of people use stevia a lot. They tend to use it in their coffees and teas, especially when they're trying to break the habit of adding sugar to their coffee and tea. They add stevia. Or the next one I'm going to go through is just monk fruit. Those are the two that they would normally add to coffee and tea, because Swerve, again, it doesn't really dissolve, okay? You know how you can put some sugar in and kind of like dissolves in your coffee, right? Or your tea. Stevia does that, and monk fruit doesn't really do that, but it gets to a small point where you can't tell that it's there. Like it breaks down a little bit. So those are the two that they like, that I have found that my clients like the most in their tea and coffee, is the stevia and the monk fruit. But the stevia is a lot sweeter than sugar. Okay, so you have to use a lot less of it than sugar, which is really cool, like, right? So you like, say it calls for like a cup of sugar, you're gonna be using like anywhere between a quarter cup and a half cup of stevia, depending on your sweetness, right? Normally it's it's a lot sweeter than that. Like for me, I'm like when it calls for, let's say 2 tablespoons of stevia, I'm literally just putting in a teaspoon. Like it's a lot sweeter. So just be mindful of that too, that it's like 200 times sweeter than normal sugar. So you need to use a lot less of it when you bake. And there's also, if you go on Google, you can actually see a conversion chart from sugar to stevia and monk fruit and Swerve. They have an actual conversion chart on Google. So you say, type in Google conversion stevia, and it will tell you how much stevia that you need per sugar in your recipe. So you can completely change your recipe and still have it taste amazing, which is awesome, right? So stevia comes in like a liquid form, a package form, or you can get it in like a little bag. Okay, all the forms are good. But the package is kind of like measured out properly. So a lot of people use the packaging because it's easier, because they can just, just dump the package in, right? So the next one is monk fruit. Okay. This one again started becoming mainstream when the ketogenic diet came out. This one also has a little bit of variety of kinds to it. It has the powdered sugar and the granulated white sugar. So it does have some pretty cool properties to it. So it has an anti-inflammatory property to it. So if you feel like you're bloated a lot, especially after eating like a baked good, monk fruit is great to put in your baking, because it helps with that inflammation, so you don't like blow up or feel bigger, like heavier after you eat like a baked good, like a cookie or something. Okay, so monk fruit is great for that. Monk fruit can be used like a 1-to-1 ratio of a sugar replacement. So if it calls for a cup of sugar, you can have a cup of monk fruit. So it's the ratios of monk fruit is awesome, which is why it became so mainstream, because you don't have to do any like conversions or look it up on Google. It's literally like the same amount of sugar in it. So monk fruit's amazing like that. Okay. The next one is another natural sugar. Okay, it's not very well known, and people don't really bake with it very often, that I have found when I talk to my clients, because when I talk to them about this, they're very shocked that I would just like take sugar out of the recipe and put this in. They're very shocked by it, but it's actually dates. Okay, dates are extremely sweet, and you can actually just put them into the recipe as a sugar replacement rather than sugar. Yeah, like like it's just, yeah, it's just great. We made like brownies with them and cookies with them, because I've tried all these replacements out myself personally, so I can see how it feels in my body, kind of how my body reacts to it, how it tastes with everything, the texture of it, because I'm a texture eater. And if my texture's off with anything that I've kind of like made healthier and trying to keep the flavors, like if the flavors are there but the texture's not, I'm not going to eat it, right? So I've tried all of these out. The dates, it's a little bit different of a texture. That's why I don't bake with it, but I did like it. And it was like, it still was sweet, and it was moist. It kept the cookies nice and moist. So I really liked that. But I just didn't like the texture of it. So dates wasn't for me, but it could be for you. So I do all these videos, and I do a list of things that you could replace it. So you can kind of go through the list and everything to figure out what works for you, because everybody's different. Every body is different, and people have different palates, right? So you might like a certain texture, and I hate that texture, right? So I always try and give you guys as much information as I can, so then you can kind of go through it and just see what fits for you. Okay. Now, I'll go through the list as a recap, but before I do that, at the beginning of this video, I mentioned an app. Okay, on this app that I've created that you can get in the Google Play Store, there's actually a link in the description below that you can grab it to. It's completely free to download. There's a completely free version and actually includes a 14-day challenge to reduce your sugar. Now, this is a do-it-your-own pace challenge. So these are basically just 14 actionable tips that you can take immediately to start reducing your sugar intake in your household, and you can do it at your own pace. You can just pick one and just do it like one tip a week, right? So it might take you 14 weeks rather than 14 days, right? But I designed it that way because when you change everything all at once, a lot of people get overwhelmed, and that's when they go back to old habits, or they get cravings because they just change too much at once. So taking these steps at like one at a time at your own pace has really helped my clients, and they love it. Okay. So you can get that. There's you can download the app for free. There's a free version that's included. There's also a paid version of my app that we actually go really in depth with nutrition and children nutrition. And, we do like little challenges and everything. There's a big community, and it's very interactive in there. And you can actually try that for a week completely free to see if you like it. If not, cancel it, go back to the free version. No hard feelings, right? But that paid version has my bank of my family oriented, sugar-free recipes. There's over 200 recipes on there. And that's what my clients love the most, because they can just scroll onto their phone and find something real quick and easy to make for dinner, or to plan out their meal too. Their weeks of the whole week of meal planning and everything, and prepping for that. So that's all on the app. Okay, so you can get that in the description below if you want to. But we'll go over these sugars. So the first one was raw honey. It's amazing for you. Has it supports immune health, and has a hefty dose of antioxidants. Pure maple syrup. It is high in zinc, calcium, and magnesium. It's a natural sugar, great replacement. Okay. Next one, Swerve. That is my favorite. I love Swerve just because of the texture and the taste of it. Tastes the most similar to sugar, in my opinion. Stevia. Lots of people love using stevia in their coffees or teas. Monk fruit. Everyone loves baking with monk fruit. For me, it's the texture thing. It's too grimy, I find. There we go. I guess that's the word. But people love it in their tea and coffee as well, but it's the easiest to start replacing your sugar because it's a 1-to-1 ratio. So if you have a cup of sugar, it's a cup of monk fruit. So that's why people love starting off with that one, because it's just so much easier to transition with that. And then the last one is dates. Dates, the last one, you can actually put that in your baking, which is really, really cool, right? And it's great. It's got tons of fiber and vitamins and nutrients in dates. So they like doing that. I know dates is a little bit strange over here in Canada, United States, but I know in Europe they bake with dates all the time. So when I talk to someone from Europe, they're not all that surprised about it. But coming over here, they're like, oh, never thought of that. But that's our video for today. I hope you guys have a fantastic day, and I will see you guys next Wednesday. Bye, guys.